Hi, in this video we'll explore animal communication by first describing the main language subsystems and how they work together.
We will also show how the system connect from and meaning, helping us understand what makes human language unique.
The first building block is phonetics, the study of speech sounds. Phonetics looks at how we produce sounds, articulatory phonetics, how we hear them, auditory phonetics, and what physical properties they have, acoustic phonetics. For example, think about the difference between the sounds s and sh, like in the words she and she. They may sound similar, but they are produced differently, and that tiny difference can change meaning. Next comes phonology, the study of how sounds behave in a particular language. Phonology tells us which sound patterns are acceptable and which are not. In English, we can say spring but not in spring. Even though those sounds exist, that sequence is not allowed by English phonological rules. Phonology helps us make sense of sound patterns, not just sounds themselves. Now let's move to morphology, the study of words structure. Words are made of morphemes, the smallest units of meaning. Take the word unbelievable. It contains three morphemes. Un meaning not, believe, the root, and able meaning capable of. Morphology explains how we create new words like turning happy into unhappiness or teach into teacher. Next is syntax, which governs sentence structure. Syntax tells us how to organize words to create meaning. Compare these two sentences. The dog chased the cat chased the dog. Same words, different order, totally different meaning. That is syntax in action. It also allows us to form complex sentences. Then comes semantics, the study of meaning in language. Semantics looks at what words, phrases, and entire sentence mean. For example, the sentence all squares have four sides has a clear, logical, truth-based meaning. Semantics helps us to understand meanings and relationships like synonyms, antonyms, and ambiguity. But meaning isn't just about logic, it is also about context. That's where pragmatics comes in. Pragmatics, the study of how people use language in a real world situations. Imagine someone says, "Could you close the window?" Semantically, it is a question about ability, but pragmatically, it is usually a polite request. Tone, context, relationships, all of these influence how we understand what is being said. But how the subsystems work together? Let's look at a simple sentence. They have been working all day. Phonetics gives us the sounds. Phonology makes sure the sound patterns are allowed in English. Morphology shows us how they and have are contracted and how working includes the suffix ing. Syntax arrange the words into grammatically correct sentence. Semantics tells us what the sentence literally means, and pragmatics lets us infer tone or intention. Maybe they are tired or maybe someone is complaining. All six systems must work in harmony for full understanding.
In this section, we will examine systems that are connected to the subsystem of human language, focusing on applied linguistic and animal communication. Animal communication systems are limited, context-bound, and fixed. Although animals like birds, bees and primates do have ways to communicate, their system lack key of features found in human language, such as creativity, displacement, and grammar. This means they cannot produce an infinite number of new messages, talk about things that are not present in time or space, or use structured rules to generate meanings. Applied linguistics refers to the interdisciplinary field of study that focuses on practical solution and improvement in language and its use. It distinguishes itself from theoretical linguistics by emphasizing real-world application and addressing language-related issues that affect individuals, groups, societies, and cultures. After examining the subsystem of human language, we will now turn into our main topic, animal communication. According to the first chapter of An Introduction to Language by Fromkin, Rodman, and Hyams, titled What is Language? Animal communication operates through instinctive, biologically programmed behaviors rather than learned or flexible systems like human language. Each species has a specific set of signals such as vocalization, body movement, chemical cues, or visual displays that are used in predictable contexts like signaling danger, attracting mates, or making territory. These signals are triggered by environmental or emotional stimuli and typically result in an automatic response from other animals. Unlike humans, animals do not learn an open-ended system of communication. More signals are inborn, and even when learning is involved, like in the bird songs, it is restricted to critical periods and results in a fixed set of messages. There is no evidence of syntax or grammar, and animals do not combine signals to create new meanings. In practice, this means that animal communication is effective for survival-related functions, but is limited in flexibility, meaning, and expression compared to human language. In this same chapter, the authors provide examples to explain more specifically why animals are capable of communication but do not possess language. The chapter argues that although animals do communicate, their systems lack essential features of human language, such as creativity, displacement, and discreteness. It emphasized that human language is biologically unique and significantly more complex, enabling infinite expression, abstract thought, and use of grammar, features that animal communication systems cannot fully replicate. Lack of creativity. Animals cannot combine things to create new meanings like humans can. This is the core difference between animals' communication and human language. An example. A parrot may repeat phrases but cannot generate new sentences, like Polly wants a banana. Lack of displacement. Animal communication is limited to the here and now. Unlike humans, animals cannot talk about the past, future, or abstract ideas. An example, a bee cannot explain it had to walk instead of fly. Fixed signals. Animals have fixed signals because, unlike human language, animal communication lacks discreteness, which refers to how language is made up of separate distinct units like sounds, words, or signs that can be combined in different ways to create new meanings. Since animals cannot combine separate units to form new messages or refer to things beyond the present, their communication relies on a limited set of unchangeable signals. Animal signals are instinctive and limited. They do not change, and each one serves a specific purpose. An example, a honeybee's dance tells the distance and direction of food, but cannot express anything else.
In this section, I'll describe the system's relevance in understanding how language is produced or understood. The system's relevance is understanding language and animal communication. Viewing language as a system is crucial for understanding how it is both produced and interpreted. A language system is made up of organized components such as phonology, morphology, syntax, semantics, and pragmatics that work together to allow humans to form words, structure sentences, and convey meaning. These subsystems follow specific rules, helping speakers generate and understand an infinite number of expressions. This systemic approach is also valuable when studying animal communication, because many species use structured signals, such as vocalizations, gestures, or chemical cues, that function similarity to language elements. For example, vervet monkeys produce different alarm calls depending on the type of predator and showing semantic differentiations. Songbirds use precise sequences in their songs reflecting phonological structure, and also like Campbell's monkeys modify their calls with suffix-like sounds to alter meaning, a behavior that resembles syntax. By analyzing these communication systems, researchers gain insight into how messages are created and understood, the cognitive abilities of non-human species, and the possible evolutionary roots of human language. As a group, we decided to include examples from English or another language to illustrate our points. So, animal communication can be understood as a system of interrelated elements, helping researchers analyze how animals produce, transmit, and interpret signals. Phonology. Species like zebra finches use pattern vocalization similar to human sound systems. Morphology. Vervet monkeys have distinct alarm calls for different predators, each made of specific sound features like morphemes. Syntax. Campbell's monkeys add suffix-like sounds like e, g, u to change meaning, showing syntax like structure. Semantics. A this wiggle dance conveys precise information about food location, much like meaning in human language. Pragmatics. Dogs change their barking depending on context, like play, warning, or attention, interpreted differently by others. And so, yeah. Analyzing animal communication as a system reveals cognitive complexity and highlights the evolutionary roots of human language.
In conclusion, animal communication allows us to understand how different subsystems of language work together in humans. By looking at how animals use signals, we can compare and describe the basic elements of communication. This helps us identify the unique features of human language. Throughout this topic, we have seen how all subsystems like phonetics, syntax, semantics, and pragmatics interact to create meaning. It is also shows how form and meaning are closely connected in language. Studying these systems gives us a better idea of how language works as a whole.